Imagine a voice so pure it stops time, only to be followed by a silence that breaks a nation's heart. In early 2023, the world was introduced to a 13-year-old choral singer who seemed to descend from the heavens directly onto the stage of Britain's Got Talent. To the casual observer, it looked like a standard overnight success story, but reporters behind the scenes knew a different narrative was unfolding. This wasn't just about a kid winning a competition. It was about a high-stakes gamble with a young boy's future and the heavy burden of sudden global fame. While the audience saw a smiling prodigy, investigative reports began to surface regarding the intense pressure placed on his young shoulders. As the golden confetti fell, questions arose. Could any child truly survive the machinery of the modern entertainment industry? This report dives deep into the unseen struggles, the secret grief, and the shocking transition that faced as the cameras rolled. Before the bright lights of London's West End was a face in the crowd, a secret weapon hidden within a cathedral choir. Growing up in a dedicated household with roots in Sierra Leone, his musical education was rigorous and disciplined. However, his path to stardom was sparked by a stolen moment, a leaked video of a school performance that went viral against all odds. Reporters discovered that was initially hesitant to step into the professional world, preferring the safety of his local church. Yet the momentum of millions of views created a force that could not be stopped. News outlets at the time began tracking this viral phenomenon, noting that child stars often face a trajectory that is as dangerous as it is dazzling. As he prepared for his national debut, his family worked tirelessly to shield him from the looming chaos of the tabloid press. But as we would soon learn, the media storm was already brewing, waiting for his first slip on the national stage. Even the most cynical critics were left speechless when did the unthinkable for a classical act. On audition night, chose a piece so technically demanding that seasoned professionals often avoid it. The atmosphere in the room was electric, and when the golden buzzer was struck, it signaled more than just a vote of confidence. It was a massive commercial endorsement. News analysts noted that rare emotional reaction was a strategic pivot for the show, which had been desperate for a pure star. However, behind this triumphant moment was a brewing controversy regarding the professionalization of child contestants. Critics argued that was being fast-tracked into a world he wasn't ready for, while supporters claimed his talent was a once-in-a-generation gift. As his name trended globally, the young singer was thrust into a grueling schedule of rehearsals and interviews, leaving very little room for a normal childhood. The gold was shining, but the machinery was already moving at a pace that few could sustain. Behind the curtain of viral success, a disturbing pattern of digital hostility began to target the young singer. As popularity reached its peak, investigative journalists uncovered a wave of coordinated trolling and targeted harassment. It is a heartbreaking reality of modern fame. The more loved a subject is, the more they attract unprovoked bitterness. Reports indicated that the accusations surfaced regarding his authenticity, with some online voices claiming his humble persona was a manufactured script. This digital storm became so severe that show producers had to increase security and provide mental health support for the teenager. While he was hitting high notes on television, he was simultaneously being exposed to the harshest corners of the internet. This section of his journey serves as a grim reminder that fame in 2026 is never free. It costs peace of mind, and for a 13-year-old, that price can be devastating. Was fighting a war that the audience couldn't see through their TV screens. Just as reached the summit of the competition, a personal tragedy struck with a timing that felt almost cruel. On a cold morning just before the live finals, news reached the young star that his beloved grandmother had passed away. She had been the spiritual anchor of his career, the one who first recognized the heavenly quality in his voice. To the public, he was a finalist. To his family, he was a grieving boy. Reports from inside the camp suggested that the show's producers offered him a way out, but made a choice that stunned the crew. He decided to stay. Journalists covering the event described the atmosphere backstage as somber and heavy, a stark contrast to the usual high-energy buzz of a television finale. He wasn't just singing for a contract anymore. He was singing for a memory. This loss transformed his performance from a simple competition entry into a raw, public act of mourning that would eventually leave the entire United Kingdom in tears of empathy. When the stage lights dimmed for the final time, everyone wondered if the grief-stricken prodigy would finally break under the pressure. Stood alone in a black tuxedo, facing a live audience of millions. His choice was a bold statement of resilience. News reviewers later wrote that his performance was supernatural, noting that he didn't miss a single note despite the visible weight on his face. He didn't win the overall title, but the shocking outcome was that he didn't need to. He had already achieved something far more valuable, a permanent place in the hearts of the public. Reporters noted that the standing ovation lasted for several minutes, a rare occurrence even for the biggest stars. While he was revealed to be the runner-up, his commercial value skyrocketed instantly. Major labels were already drafting contracts before the credits even finished rolling. The tragedy had been channeled into a triumph, but the physical and emotional toll was only just beginning to show for the young artist. In the aftermath of the finale, a bidding war erupted that would change the landscape of classical music for the decade. News broke almost immediately that Universal Music had secured signature in a deal worth a staggering amount. This wasn't just a standard recording contract. It was a multi-platform development deal designed to make him the face of classical crossover. Investigative reports into the industry suggested that the label was betting big on his ability to attract a younger audience to an aging genre. His debut album, Golden, was fast-tracked for release, featuring collaborations with legendary composers like. While the music was beautiful, some critics questioned if the industry was milking the young star's tragedy for profit. Reporters followed him into the studio, where he worked 10-hour days to perfect his sound. The boy from the choir was now a corporate asset, and the pressure to perform was no longer about a hobby. It was about fulfilling the massive expectations of a global conglomerate. As his album topped the charts, made a debut that most veteran singers only dream of, yet a new mystery began to emerge. Performing at the Royal Albert Hall for the royal family should have been the happiest moment of his life, but observers noticed a change in his demeanor. Reporters noted that he seemed distant and tired, sparking rumors about the sustainability of his career. Was the young star burnt out by the age of 15? Behind the scenes, journalists discovered that his voice was beginning its natural transition. In the world of boy sopranos, this is the final curtain, a biological deadline that no amount of money can stop. Speculation grew that he would soon be off the stage for a long hiatus. The industry held its breath as he hit his final high notes in 2025. This was the silent tragedy. The very tool that made him famous was physically changing, and no one knew if he would ever sound the same again as he stepped into the shadows of puberty. Today, in 2026, the silence has been broken as reports surface regarding the new voice of, after a year of retreating from the public eye, has finally emerged, and the transformation is nothing short of shocking. Investigative news segments have confirmed that he has transitioned from a boy soprano to a rich, resonant baritone tenor. This is the moment where most child stars fail, yet has been working in secret with world-class vocal coaches to rebuild his technique from the ground up. Recent footage shows him in a different light, mature, composed, and ready to tackle a new repertoire. Reporters have highlighted his work with youth charities, where he uses his own story of accusations and tragedy to inspire the next generation. He is no longer the kid from BGT. He is a serious artist who has navigated the most dangerous transition in music. The mystery of his voice has been solved, but his journey into adult stardom is only just beginning under a new, powerful sound. Looking back at the roller coaster of the last 3 years, we must ask, was the price of fame worth the heartbreak he endured? As our final report concludes, we see a young man who has matured far beyond his years. He has faced online comments, the loss of his matriarch, and the terrifying change of his own identity. Yet he stands as a symbol of resilience. Story is a case study for the YouTube generation, a reminder that talent is only half the battle. The other half is surviving the world that wants to consume that talent. He has established a music foundation for underprivileged kids, ensuring his legacy isn't just about record sales. As he prepares for his 2026 international tour, the world is no longer looking for a tragedy. They are looking at a survivor. His story teaches us that even when the golden buzzer fades and the voice changes, the heart of an artist remains. The report is clear, is here to stay, and his true song is only beginning.